Hello! Alright, we are actually live. This is gonna take a little while.
Hello.
Do we get chat? Oh.
Do we get chat? Oh, just sit like this. This works.
This works.
What?
Oh. It's because no one's watching.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get this link. If anyone's here, hello. I'm Hayu. What's your name?
Torvid?
Torvid.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to quickly get the link to this stream and share it out to a bunch of places, and then we will start building the Lego. Lego my Eggo. How am I going to access stream chat? Can I see chat on this?
I can type something in it and we'll see.
Is this the button for chat? I guess there just is no chat yet. The top chat.
I'll find it and type something into it.
I don't see chat.
Subscriptions.
I've never done a...
Am I even subscribed?
Oh, hey, K-Man. All right, we do have chat.
Yeah, chat.
All right.
Oh, that's really hard to see.
Hello there.
Live. Lego ideas.
All right, we need to know how good the audio is, K-Man, because I'm not sure if the music is too loud, if we're too quiet.
You play it on your phone.
Oh, that's a good point. Let's just watch myself.
Hey.
Oh, it's very quick. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
All right. We have very low latency.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's YouTube.
All right, so we actually have a thing. Cool.
That's fun. Both of us just looking at it like, oh, there's no sound. Neither of us talking, trying to look at the thing.
It's like in Spaceballs. All right.
Okay.
Who's there? Let's. I can reach out on this actually. You sound kind of quiet. We don't really want the music in the video. It's mainly for us. We sound kind of quiet. We could bring the iPad closer.
Yeah.
I'll do that quickly. This shouldn't sound particularly terrible. The noise cancellation.
Talk louder.
Nah, it's more reverb in that case.
True.
All right. Let's bring it over here and just pivot it down a notch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks good to me. If the iPad falls off its mount, well, rest in peace us. Oh, if the iPad falls off the mount, we'll just get the backup iPad.
Yeah.
We have like 3 of them.
Yeah.
All right. God help us if we have to go to the old one. That would be awful.
I have it. Oh.
Yours is the same as mine, yeah. All right, so we have chat here. We need Lego.
Yeah.
We need to share the link. That's the one. Share the link to the stream in a bunch of places. All right, and then we're ready to start.
Projected onto the stars.
All right. I'm just gonna make a copy paste. Streaming Lego ISS build. Copy. All right. And then we'll paste it in here. Blah, blah, blah. And then here. We will start soon, everyone. Just gonna quickly set this up. Discord. Oh yeah, we have coffee. And we have a Swedish pastry called semla as well, which is like a seasonal pastry. So I shall post in announcements on Escape Velocity, which is our Discord. If there are any mods in the chat, could you please link it? At everyone.
Oh God.
Hell yeah.
You monster.
All right. It didn't warn me. I guess it doesn't warn on mobile. I'm gonna put it in a couple of others too.
It knows you don't care. It has learned.
Okay. Just spamming everyday astronauts Discord, just quickly. And let's see here. And one more place I want to put it in, which is there.
Already when I got the notification.
All right. we Gucci. We're done. We're good. So, hello viewers. We will start building some Lego now. How's the coffee?
Good shit.
That's good. All right. You don't need to see our faces. You need to see the goods. Oh, does this thing not go any further? Well, I will will it to go further. That's the kind of thing I would expect before this entire thing falls over. All right, I'd say that's good enough.
Yeah.
Move this a bit closer. Just don't move the carpet.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No, that's the extent of what we use. Is all we need. Cool.
So-
Let us begin.
So I imagine this can be done like like there's multiple sections, so it can be done
Yeah,
concurrently.
I would assume that. So we will unfortunately tear up the instructions. I think that's possible. Sorry. Trying to not show my keys because you can actually
Oh yeah.
steal people's keys from a picture of their keys.
Though I mean, no one knows where we live. So.
All right. So, oh, it's colorful. Ooh. Oh yeah, gotta get chat up as well.
Or maybe they just open on your phone. Or wait.
Exactly, it's how I open my phone.
Pull one
Okay,
step.
we have everyone is here. Hello everyone. Hello Rusty. All right, here's for some Lego pieces ASMR. Look, Rusty, it's your color.
Hey.
All right. So I suggest, yeah, we just
Look at the menu, I guess, or the
Menu?
manual.
Manual. Oh, it's one of these fancy manuals. I like these. Right.
It's only one
Neat.
manual. Right?
All right. We have Lego Ideas International Space Station. Yep, it's pretty basic. Let's just go ahead. So, yep, it's got some information about Stop the Crunch.
Huh?
It's got some information
It's
about
fun.
the ISS. Yeah, it's like the Saturn V one. It has a Meet the Designer page. And it has the Lego one here. It has some pictures here from the cupola of some astronauts inside. And there's even a little SpaceX Dragon. I mean, I would say that was the Starliner, but the Starliner has to actually fly properly first. Rest in peace, Boeing. Oh, and there's the Lego Saturn V they plug in as well. Yeah, very good. Okay, 10-year anniversary special review of what? What is it? What? 10-year? This is the 20-year anniversary of the space station. Oh, 10-year anniversary of Lego Ideas.
Makes me wonder, is this the same scale as the
No, this is about half.
Okay.
If it was the same scale, it'd be about the same size, same length. It would be the wingspan of the ISS.
Wait,
Right.
what do you mean compared to the Saturn V?
Yeah, Saturn V is about the same length as the wingspan of the ISS,
Okay,
roughly.
So the same scale, it would be like this big.
Yeah, it would be a giganto, which I would want, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure my wallet would want. Okay.
Okay.
So it looks like one is the shuttle, the Progress Soyuz, and the Dragon, and the astronauts. 2 is the stand. 3 is the truss. 4 is the pressurized segments, and the 5 is
Final assembly.
no 5 is more truss. So that would be like the let's see, the P3 and S3 onwards for the truss, and then 6 is final assembly of the solar panels and stuff. So let's start with 1.
Is this available online? So we can do things?
This manual.
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is we'll actually just rip it up like we did the Saturn V.
Oh, okay, that's fine to do. You don't want to have it.
The chat's gonna hate us, but
Yeah.
screw that.
That's pretty mean.
So, sorry, chat. Stampy Longbow, £2. Thank you for the donation.
What's the set? What's the number?
The number of the set, it's on the manual here. It's 221-321.
21.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've been playing loads of VR, which is why I sound American. I'm not actually American or Swedish. I was, in fact, conceived by Miku Hatsune, which is now what I call the United Kingdom because it's leaving the EU. Okay, so I think I will get to work. Do you want to work on the station first, or do you want to work on like the people, the shuttle, and like the Soyuz and stuff like that?
Wait, what? I'm looking
So-
for my.
I need to. I was thinking of like ripping it open.
Yeah, but this would be then we don't have to rip it open.
All right.
So we can find the instructions
All
on
right.
it.
Well, Torvid's looking for the instructions. People are saying Dorime Amino Amino in the chat.
This is broken website.
Amino Dorime.
Look at this. I selected.
Hey, not fish.
Oh my god. Never mind.
Instructions. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be sniffling throughout this. I still got kind of a bit of sniffles. What is what? Web 3.0? Am I right? Is that it? I don't think they just give out the instructions for free online.
What is this cursed?
It's like you have to get out of it first.
This brings me to like another thing.
Okay, looks like the website just doesn't work. That's it? It's in French.
Like there's this, but
Uh-huh.
it's an ad. That's all it is.
Alright, just let's rip this up.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
This is cursed.
We did that with the Sound 5. They're all on, yeah, I know they're all on the Lego website, Rusty, but
Where? Link.
that's the thing. We went to the link and it comes up with like, do our survey or play our online
Like,
game.
You have like a direct link to put in the chat?
Yeah, can you put a direct link in the chat, Rusty?
That would be awesome.
Like a direct link to the PDF or whatever it is, because we're having trouble.
Oh, desktops.
Oh, but that one?
Maybe they can uncurse it.
Uncurse. That's in Lego ideas. You're not going to find the instructions in there. Building instructions on
It's
Lego.com.
on Lego.
Yeah. All right. No. Yeah. So.
Oh wait, there we go.
Is that it?
Maybe click it. Wait, process. There we go. Hey,
Download PDF. We got it.
desktop site. 'Cause phones can't.
Yeah.
I found it. I think.
All right. So you want to get started on bags 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll get started on
This
bag
is awesome.
3. Yeah. So I'll get started on the P0, P1, and S1 truss. Oh, P2 and S2 are in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna deal with the whole sniffle situation. I'll be back.
Mm-hmm. I will get started with
Bag 1 and 2.
bag 1 and 2.
That's a bin as well.
Nice.
Just gonna blow the trumpet there. All right, we're good. I'm gonna take a picture of this setup. Actually, it's kind of cool. All right, back to Lego. Excuse me.
Actually, do we do this with,
See you a bit later, Rusty.
do we do this with all the pieces, or do we
Lay them out?
do them like bag by bag?
We should do it, yeah, bag by bag. So, yeah.
The thing you can do is open literally all of them,
Oh.
organize everything.
Yeah,
and
there's a name for that, but we're not gonna do that because
it takes more
we
time.
don't want to spend forever on this.
Yeah.
And also, we have a limited space on this table.
Oh yeah.
We're not Adam Savage with his massive table of doom.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of group things in generally the same place, but I'm not gonna make it pretty. Because the set is pretty. You don't need to make the process of making the set particularly pretty.
Process is the fun part.
Yeah.
Okay, here's this thing. I don't know what it it for?
Oh, this thing,
What
it
does
pries
it-
apart pieces if your little child hands can't pry apart on their own.
If you're a little child hand.
Nah, it's actually pretty hard to get some of them apart sometimes if you mess up. Alright. Oh, okay. Take care, Mr. GameStop. Time to channel our inner IKEA building skills.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
On an IKEA table that we specifically didn't build because it was the last one in the country, and we put it in a taxi and took it from the store.
Yeah.
That's a fun story. We just put the entire table in a shopping trolley because that's what we were told to do by one of the reps. And then like another rep who didn't know about this sees us and they're like, haha, that's not how this store works. And we're just like, no, it's how this table works. That was pretty funny.
This is like the fun part.
And then you had to go for some reason? Oh no, we had to get it the next morning. That's
Yeah,
what-
exactly. They didn't have.
Yeah, the people to sort out the weird cases like this weren't in anymore. Alright. Oh, these pieces are so tiny and finicky, which means that this is going to be really fun. Alright. Sorting the pieces out like this is probably actually a really good idea.
It's like legit the fun part.
What? Get out of here.
Okay, I may be damaged. I'm like, I would like for fun, when I was a kid,
Mhm.
just like sort the Lego pieces by color into like compartments. It's a wonder I don't have any form of I don't have any kind of OCD or anything.
No, I mean it's
It's just fun.
a very it's a common technique.
It's like therapeutic.
Very soon I'm gonna have the seminar actually.
Yeah. Humans like order and structure and things to be pretty.
Okay, and then the little plastic bag here. Oh yeah, as a reminder, if anyone interested in COPPA, the legislation around child data usage is watching, fuck.
Very good. Not for children. Even though we are
you know what actually?
even though we are building Lego.
No,
Fuck.
the thing is, like, this is not a monetized stream. I don't care about that stuff for today, so
Oh,
it doesn't really matter. We're not putting ads on this.
We live in a society.
We live in a society.
Oh, I'm like off the side of.
And that's okay.
I should be assembling it on stream somewhere actually.
We can move the whole table very slightly to the side if you want.
Keep the bags.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Put the bags
to have
down.
more space. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about centered, I'd say. Yeah, we're good now.
Where's my boundary? It's like there. Okay.
Alright, cool. This is a nice chill, relaxed stream. How are you guys doing, chat?
How is
Space
everyone-
Can says, LMAO, nice copper feel. Am I right? Yeah, it is Space Can.
Copper?
It's an American phrase.
Get it.
I don't want to explain it on stream.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I will explain it on stream because the stream is not for kids.
Yeah. You can explain.
Copper feel is to touch a person's breast without them wanting or something like that.
Oh, that's yikes.
Yeah, that is yikes. At least that's what I think it is. I'm not American. I sound American. That's because
American.
I've Brexited with my own country. Yeah, take that, England. I Brexited you back.
Become a break. Yeah, you bailed.
I didn't actually bail for that reason. I bailed earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was good. And you transferred all your money, so it's not in like GBP. How's their?
Actually, if you want to take a look at how that's gone, because I did it just before Brexit Day. I transferred the stuff over.
Yeah.
Well, they transferred the recent stuff over.
Let's see.
I don't know. I didn't want to wait around and see what happened. This is the time when I want to plug Hazelight's new video game,
Oh yeah.
which has not been announced, but I will say it's going to be amazing, and you should follow Hazelight Studios.
Yeah. It's like a co-op thing again.
It's another co-op game.
Yeah.
I've worked on it. I'm not currently working on it, but he is
A video game.
senior technical artist.
Yeah. Holy shit. That feels so weird.
Like to call yourself that.
Yeah.
Senior.
I can call myself.
You're a senior now. You're a boomer.
Oh no. Senior in the video games. That just means I survived.
It just means you survived, yeah, and I
That's-
didn't.
That's like I was talking to Max and he said that like, man, he was like, man, everyone I know gave up after like 5 years. Everyone I know who worked in the games industry gave up. And I was like, somehow I'm still
Well, I
doing
mean,
it.
I did it for like 8 years, but in various
Yeah.
different ways. So
Yeah, and it depends on what company you're with. Some
Yeah,
companies
exactly.
are fucking hell. Like, Jesus. There's like, I see everyone excited about. Actually, no, I probably should bring up like industry.
whisper in my ear, what game are you talking about? Oh god, yeah, like that's
Everyone's hyped about it, and I'm like, okay, but the company sounds awful to work for. I don't know.
No, you know what? I'm gonna say it out loud because we're not. Look, we should not be quiet about this shit. It's okay. CD Projekt Red can go eat a dick. The way they treat their employees.
Yeah.
They wanted me as a lighting artist. I'm like, haha, heck no.
Yeah. So do you want to die
It's
from
like,
crunch?
do you want
Oh,
to
yeah.
be? Do you want to be the lighting artist on Cyberpunk game? Me, Keanu Reeves. Not if it's you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with people enjoying the game. It's probably going to be fucking amazing from everything I've seen. But
The
company
games are
seems,
usually really good. It's
yeah,
just-
they're like best games.
yeah. They're not nice people. They don't. Well, the management isn't. How are the digital instructions working out for you?
Looking fine. It will probably be a bit slower than normal, but that's fine.
Bertie says, I'm sure this isn't the only time someone's sworn while building the ISS, Lego or otherwise.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, no, it's, yeah, absolutely. Space Can says, since it's the weekend, I'm taking some time to draw. Very nice.
Oh.
Right, so I've got to put together the 2 big pieces. Is it finicky?
It's I want to use my mouth.
Alright, just because it's
Is
not
that
for kids.
acceptable?
It's not for kids, we shouldn't, like, swear constantly, though, because... you want to use your mouth
Yeah.
to move it into position?
Yeah. Is that
Can you
acceptable?
not do that again?
Okay.
I mean,
This was like try adjusting this left and right. It's actually impossible.
oh my god, that's hard.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can do
And
it.
so I got it in wrong, so I had to fix it.
Alright. I'm currently building the truss. SD, hello there! SD, I need help. I'm too busy building Lego. Could you promote me? Thank you.
Let go. Can this tool be used for adjusting it left and right?
Oh my god, the latency is so low with this stream. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
That tool? I'm not sure. Alright, in the middle of this, we're gonna have a pastry break for some food as well. You're gonna have to watch us eat.
Oh no. I think you can set up YouTube to be even lower latency, like a second. Like
Yeah,
less
but then
than-
you deal with some.
You can't have DVR, I think.
There's a few things that they can't get processed in time, so they don't get processed at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm currently working on the P0 through S2 and P2 truss.
Making a little Soyuz.
Yay, Soyuz. Also, there is a SpaceX Dragon in this set, and it's not a Starliner because it's at the ISS. Ooh. Not controversial at all.
I don't even know it.
Space drama today, especially like today, the space drama has been pretty real.
I am? What
yeah.
happened?
So, if you guys want the tea, chat, if you want the tea, the whole thing with Boeing, you remember the whole, oh yeah, we're meant to go to the ISS and then we didn't because things screwed up? Well, yeah, because their Starliner, it was meant to dock at the ISS, but it basically just had it thought it was at a different point in the mission once it separated from the rocket during launch, and it just thrusted in completely the wrong direction. Which basically meant it spent all of its fuel and it only just barely made it to orbit by chance. So after that happened, they're like, okay, there's no way we can visit the ISS because there's not enough fuel remaining for docking. And then they thought, wait a sec, if this thing's wrong with the code, there might be more things that are wrong with the code. And they looked through the code and they were like, oh my god, this mission's not going to succeed. We need to fix it. So before before they re-entered, they actually patched the software of the spacecraft mid-flight to fix this, what would have been a catastrophic failure. here's the problem. When you come back into the Earth's atmosphere, you have this engine segment attached to the back of your spacecraft, and you want to detach from that so that you're just the capsule that re-enters. And the idea was, in order to get that second part away from the capsule, they detach it, then the second part would sort of turn around and just like turn on its engine and fly away in a different direction. Otherwise, there's a chance that the capsule will smack back into it as they enter the Earth's atmosphere. A very high chance, might I add. And, well, all the... You know in your game, if you can screw with someone by, like, changing the key bindings? They have a bunch of bindings to the different valves that control the different engines and stuff. They were wrong. Which meant, when it did this maneuver, it would have slammed at high speed into the capsule, completely killing it. So they fixed this on the fly before the capsule re-entered, and then they said nothing about it. There was some sources on the inside that managed to leak out some information saying, hey, this catastrophic thing nearly happened. Journalists, of course, they emailed and they said, hey, what's going on? What's this thing we're hearing about? And Boeing said, oh, it wouldn't have been a problem anyway. It was minor. The main problem was this other thing. Of course, it was a major problem. There was a press event yesterday, a teleconference with the administrator of NASA on the phone. And it basically ended. The very last thing that was said on the teleconference was NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine saying, we should never, ever, ever be afraid of the truth. And then he hung up. So, everyone got a lot of respect for him out of that.
Chernobyl vibes.
Yeah, exactly. The goddamn, the Boeing people on the phone, people could not stand them. So, yeah, it's too early to say what the plans are for the reflight of the Starliner without crew to see if, how that'll go. But this is a major problem. Earlier, there were internal emails coming out of Boeing talking about how they were so much better than SpaceX and oh yeah, at least we know what we're doing compared to those guys, right? Yeah, about that. They don't know what they're doing. So now they're going for an entirely new review of all of Starliner's code, of which there's over 1 million lines. And they are, they basically found out that all the previous verification methods they had, the processes that are in place for that, they just weren't followed at all. Which, Boeing's never had a problem with safety critical software in the past in any of their vehicles, have they? So,
well mean.
So that's where we are right now, which is a problem because, well, we don't have to buy more Soyuz flights. It's not really going to be a thing. We need more people. We need people to stay on the ISS. The mission that was meant to wait out until Dragon was available, that mission just ended and touched down 2 days ago. So at this point, it's we're on the last mission before we're flying with commercial crew, basically, and yeah, it's getting really close. We're having to stretch these missions out a lot. These people are being in space for a lot longer than they anticipated they would be. So, yeah, the pucker factor is increasing. All right, throw these guys.
Ooh, these are little thrusters.
Boji says, so is this one of the worst USA screw-ups, or have worse things happened? Oh, it's just the space agency. It's
like
in terms of the actual magnitude of how bad a screw-up this is, I wouldn't say it's that bad. Even if things go catastrophically, you can only fit 4 people in one of those capsules. This isn't like an airliner full of, 200 or so people.
Yeah. If they get worse, a couple of people.
Boeing has a lot of experience with that. Oh, God. So the meme is, ever since about 20 years ago when they acquired McDonnell Douglas. See, McDonnell Douglas was this engineering company, and it was failing for very good reasons. It was failing because their management was terrible. Unfortunately, when Boeing acquired them, they also acquired that terrible part of the management. And what happened was, all the management of Boeing moved to the other side of the country, which previously it was actually run by engineers who had moved up to management. Now it was run by like career managers, and that's when everything went to hell. That's when it was like, oh yeah, let's try and cut costs everywhere. But well, the problem is, you need to understand exactly where to cut those costs. This is engineering. This is safety critical systems. You can't just cut costs the same way you can in other industries. And they may have come from a separate engineering company, but like that was a failing engineering company for a reason. So anyway, it's the kind of BS that space industry has been dealing with in the last couple of days, or rather, Boeing is the source of the BS the space industry has been dealing with for the last couple of decades or more. Yeah, the space shuttle was just a huge disaster. Like, it should not have existed in the way it did. It was beautiful, but that was in spite, that was in spite of its problems, which were just so huge and also deliberate. What is that? Oh, it's one of those again. Two more. It's a bit quiet, and unfortunately we can't really do that much about that. So you're just gonna have to turn up the volume. If it's really reverby, it's hard to hear us. I'm sorry. We just kind of threw the stream together, which I think is the best way to go about it. It was fun.
Hopefully it's not super quiet.
Nah, people are saying it's okay with headphones. It's just if you're not using headphones, it's a bit harder. Honestly, didn't realize Boeing was that invested in commercial spaceflight, but I guess it makes sense. The Starliner team are great. They are working with a really limited budget. They're working with like 1.5 times or more of what SpaceX got. But the problem is, people who've seen Boeing, because Boeing's a publicly traded company, people who've seen their financials can see that all that money just went immediately to management. Like, it just got ripped out of their hands. That's the kind of company we're dealing with here. What's that? Oh, it's a thingy. Where did I? There it is. Who is the person with Hayu? This is Torvid.
Hello, I am Torvid. I make the video games.
He also makes the video games.
That's what I do.
Oh, Geo, Boeing has been in the space industry for ages. They made the space shuttle. They are working on SLS. They, they're also the reason that so much money gets taken from NASA and given to other things that NASA's made to do, because they have a very strong lobby in the US government. They have the power to basically cancel NASA.
Is there usually this much extra stuff?
Huh? Oh, like spare parts?
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're really small and they're really crucial, then yes.
Cool.
It's quite nice. It also means you end up with a lot of them.
An extra little doodle. Cool.
Excuse me. This truss segment's really strong.
We got a Soyuz with the landing part and another one,
Oh yeah.
I guess. And
No,
then
the
two
thing
leaders
sticking out of it,
and
I think,
one
helps
leads.
it go into the dock with the station.
Oh.
Oh, it's just a really big probe.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
landing part. Okay.
And then this here is I guess a progress, or this could be. Oh, no, this is Dragon V1.
Oh,
Yeah, that looks like Dragon V1.
cool. Oh yeah. That's a Soyuz.
But
Has a spherical thing.
the place where it docks on the station on the Lego model is not Dragon V1, so it could be a progress,
Okay.
which is just a cargo Soyuz. Hey.
I believe in progress.
So I'm gonna make a couple of these memes. Okay. Let me make 2 of these. Hi, how do you know so much? In this age, we get presented with a lot of information. And you know, it's up to you to decide what information is useful or not, and that'll decide whether you remember it or not. And I like to think that most information is useful to remember. I just like, it helps build a bigger picture of what the world is. I think the moment I started really remembering everything that I read and see was around the same time that I really started to value other people and like what they do and how they experience life, not just my own way. And so I think that's part of it. It's about like having a sense of really caring about everything. Then you will remember almost everything. Though, I mean, I haven't got it perfectly either, so don't always take everything from me. Because with me, I also have a problem where I think I emotionally invest in too many things. So, I've got to kind of like make sure I only emotionally invest in certain things so that I have enough like emotional energy left for the other stuff that matters. You can't care about everything in an emotional way because then you won't have any emotion left. It's just too much. So like, I could really care about some charitable causes, which I really want to care about, but then I wouldn't be able to care about, I'd be trying to care about everything. If I, during my life, decide I only want to care about this space stuff and leave it to other people to care about the other stuff, that's like a deliberate choice I would have to make, and probably one I will have to make. All right. So these go under here. These 8. These. I can smell that scent I really want it.
Yeah. Tasty.
Alright.
Can I have it when you're finished with your first thing?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Just chomp down on that. I need blood sugar.
Prepare to hold your color. Oh yeah, is there music playing on the stream, by the way? Or is it just
They can
us
hear it a
talking?
little bit.
Oh, I see. So you don't have actual music playing?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I mean, still mobile, remember, so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's actually 4, okay. Oh. Sorry if this question is too personal, but what else do you do besides YouTube? I used to be a pretty notorious game developer. Well, not that notorious, I suppose. I worked in games that were quite notorious.
Prolific.
When I worked on the Stanley Parable, I was lead designer on a game called The Beginner's Guide. And then I worked with this boyo on a game called A Way Out, made by Hazelight Studios, which is where we worked. Well, he still works there.
I still work at senior technical artist at Hazelight.
Yeah, which means he makes tools. He helps with visual effects and stuff.
Yeah.
I used to be a lighting, visual effects, and environment artist combo there. Mostly focused on lighting and VFX. Now, currently, I'm just taking time off because I have the ability to do so and just chilling because, well, a lot of life stuff came up basically. And I really care about the space stuff. And trying to be creative for the space stuff and creative for the game stuff at the same time just burned me out. So right now I've actually just been doing VR development. I've been making stuff with VR chat and just enjoying my time in VR and at least since the new year. And it's been really nice.
It's really good. It's really been showing in your mood as well, how you feel, and it seems like it's a good thing, the VR stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I've been spending too much time in virtual reality though. Like we were at a buffet last night, and I was like I think I was like too close to people when I was walking past them. And I realized, oh yeah, I can't just phase through people. It doesn't work like that in real life. It's like, oh, huh. So yeah, it's interesting. Notfish says, "Wait, you worked in Stanley Parable. Thank you for helping make such an awesome game." Yeah. Thank you. I do believe it is a very awesome game. Davey is just a ridiculously good writer. He's read a lot of very weird books. It was awesome. I made the Minecraft part mostly. I didn't do so much on the Stanley Parable, but mostly focused on the other game, which we were developing at the same time. But the Minecraft part was my main focus, and it still took like months because I did all of it in the Portal 2 version of Hammer level editor. If anyone here has dealt with Hammer, you'll know.
Mm-hmm.
You will know.
Source engine in general.
God. And I used to run a channel called Weasel Level Design. That's still up. Hell, if I finish this Mirror's Edge map, I might even upload a trailer to Weasel Level
Oh
Design.
my god,
This is
do
a
it.
joke.
Yes.
Because like I would upload trailers for my Gmod Mirror's Edge maps back in the day. You can barely hear me, and you have your volume cranked up. I should make a Minecraft server for buildings, says Maximum Shades. Well, join the Patreon. We have a patron server. We're about to update it to 1.15. But not 1.16, because that could introduce lots of bugs.
It's only a snapshot, right? Or...
Yeah, the only one we have so far is a snapshot.
Yeah.
NASA is trending on Brazil's Twitter. Interesting.
Oh. I wonder what the most time-efficient way to build Lego is.
The most
I'm
time efficient
guessing
way
your
to build
strategy is probably the best, where you generally organize it and then build.
Yeah. You gotta make sure to speak up, by the way, Torvid.
Oh yeah. It's strange that the iPad is so insensitive. Like it doesn't have insensitive, the wrong word.
You know what? The mic is covered slightly.
Oh. Oh.
There are several mics.
Yeah, it's a microphone array, right? Or
Yeah,
noise
for
cancellation?
all kinds of things, but... Alright. Maybe we might be a bit louder now, be picking up more direct sound rather than just reverb, but let us know.
Hello.
I think it's mostly just the fact there's so much reverb as well. It masks the
Yeah. We need to put more stuff all around in
soft
this room.
stuff.
Yeah.
I can't immediately see anywhere we could help with that right now.
Bookshelves and things.
Oh yeah. I have books actually. I
Yeah.
don't have any shelves for
We
them.
have a couple. I got 2 books recently as well.
Hmm.
Though I think one of them belongs in the bathroom.
I'm turning into a boomer. I have books.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I'm currently making these gray parts on the right and left. These are the P2 and S2 truss segments. And they're used to connect the P1 and S1 segments, which are where the radiators go. They connect them to the area which has the solar panels. So yeah. Does it come with the Chris Hadfield? We can pen in a little moustache of one of the guys, and oh wait, they have helmets on, right? We should put a moustache in the helmet at some point.
You can see the face through that. It's like a little bit of yellow.
Maximum Shades, FYI, the Minecraft server uses Java, not Bedrock. So it's not the Minecraft for Windows 10, it's just Minecraft Java edition. If you're interested in that. Alright, put those on. Okay, next. These go on. Yeah. Oh, hey, it has ball sockets here, so you can actually like rotate those solar panels.
Oh.
Yeah, that's cool. In here.
Ball sockets. Like in Havoc.
Havoc. Video game physics engine.
Yeah. Havoc.
Havoc.
Very good.
What am I looking at here? Oh, I see. Just more little pieces. This is pretty intricate for the scale it's at. I did make a Lego ISS at like the minimum scale possible with Lego a couple years ago. That's back in my parents' house. it's absolutely boring. Hello there, Woxford. Welcome. You are not late. We're just still kind of starting on the first part. Torvid's currently working on the stand.
Yeah.
I am working on the truss, which what holds the radiators and the solar panels. Okay. And then just 4 of these. Oh yeah, these are for the CETA carts. They're like there's like rails that go along the length of the ISS's truss, and on each side there's a cart that astronauts can like hold onto and like attach their tools to, which is like travels. It's like an electric cart that travels along the rails. And additionally, there's another one that's just for the robot arm, so it can climb around the outside on its own, and then attach to the cart and then move itself around. There's a lot of automation and robotics on the ISS. It's nuts. The robot arm is like a big spider that can like climb around the outside of the ISS on its own. Like it just climbs end over end. That's really nice how they did this. Okay, maximum shades. All right. Number 4. Can I have number 4, please?
Number 4?
Thank you. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Before that, Semla break.
Yeah.
Should you get like a plate or something?
Oh yeah, good way.
Just get one of both of us.
Yep.
Okay. I'll bookmark this. So, we're going to have a treat that's a seasonal thing in Sweden. It's called semla. It's like a pastry bread thing which has cream in the middle. We're eating this because we need calories. That's exactly right, Birdie. The robot arm, it has 2 ends that can connect to stuff. It just crawls around the outside of the ISS. It even has like a head, like a face hugger looking thing with lots of little arms on it that it can grab and attach to itself as a head, which can then manipulate multiple things at once. They're actually able to fix parts of the ISS from the ground without even having the astronauts do anything. This way, having the arm run around and do stuff on its own. Anyway, this is a food break. You are watching us eat. My hands are getting completely covered in this stuff. Where'd Torfit go? I don't know of any individual video, unfortunately, Bertie. And Maximum Shades, yeah, the server's a Patreon reward. So only like join it if you're interested in actually being my patron. I'll also point out that I've been doing a lot of this VR stuff recently, so I haven't been playing on the Minecraft server as much. Just gonna wolf this thing down and we'll continue working. was delicious. All right. Ready to continue. I got the Space Station kit just yesterday. Did you get the patch as well? Patch? No. Oh, well, we're in Sweden. We got like a free little drag race car thing, a little kit as well. We didn't get a patch or anything.
What's this thing?
Oh, it's like a
Plaque?
a plaque that goes on the model.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bag number 4. Let's get this icing off of here. Take care. See you around. All right. What? Yeah, what? Velcro patch. Yeah. No, we didn't get one. Would have been cool. Alright, this is the pressurized segment of the ISS that I'll be assembling now. So that's all the modules where the astronauts live. Also, if you just joined the stream, hello everyone, welcome. I should probably arrange this first before opening the tiny ones. That would be smart. A lot of little cell panel pieces here. These are kind of cool. Gonna try to speed run. I want to get back to VR development.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I want to see this thing done. If any of you guys out there play VR chat, I've been working on a map called City of Glass. If you're curious to see it, note that down somewhere and watch it out of the stream. Watch it. Go to it. Oh, these pieces are slightly different. Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
How do I turn up to make it so my phone doesn't close its screen? It's like in the developer setting, right?
Oh, you also reading chat?
Who, me?
Oh, the manual.
Yeah, the manual keeps going by.
It's in general settings. There should be a setting for lock screen, lock time.
Display?
Maybe.
Factory?
Or it'll just be in general settings.
There's more general settings.
Oh, I'm iOS.
Oh, I'm on Android.
You're on the vulnerable system.
Yeah.
The vulnerable system that is going to be better in the long run, probably, because it's less proprietary.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to be vulnerable. Unless you're the nuclear launch codes, then it is not okay to be vulnerable. What are the white ones for? I'm curious. Some little pieces. Alright. Unleash. Hello there, Massbox. Welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, if you like what you're seeing, do leave a like. That is a thing. I'm not sure what it does, but I hear it works. Oh, this is finicky. What is that? Okay, there's a lot of tiny pieces here that are very confusing. That I've never seen before. Just gonna organize these off screen. There we go. Okay. Alright, so I don't know what these are. There are these little pieces. Get it in the light there. What is that? What is that? It's like a tiny little car thing. We will have to see. There's a lot of them too.
I wonder what the most awful thing to build in Lego is. Like, what's the most horrible,
Like a really big,
grueling, complicated thing?
big. Oh,
Like, takes the most effort to
I
build.
wonder that Star Destroyer.
Maybe.
The size of that thing. What the
Yeah.
hell?
It's probably up there.
So something I noticed this set is missing is one of the flagship experiments in the ISS called the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer, or AMSO2.
Method.
AMSO2. It's that's missing from this set, I believe. I couldn't see it. Why do we have the top of a soda can as a piece for the ISS? Like, yeah, you're not getting that really visible on screen, but
Must be some little mechanical detail, I guess.
all right, all these little pieces here. I'm not going to organize these. Screw that.
Hey.
All right. So. All right, I see. Oh, I know what these parts are. That's cool. All right. These are the parts that connect they're like braces that connect the truss to the Destiny module. And the astronauts actually climb up these sometimes to get to the truss. I saw one do a backflip off of one of them. That was pretty cool. Yeah, David something. David Saint-Jacques, I think was his name. Quebec astronaut, I believe. Was he Quebec or was he French? I actually don't remember. But he was like, he seemed to be having trouble with this spacesuit because he was trying to use too much force to get himself around, because you're meant to like be very careful and gentle in space, but he was like actually forcefully pulling himself around. But he did it like a pro. Like he was like doing flips and stuff to get to places. He was like just hand over hand, just powering through and speeding through. And it was like, are you speed running a spacewalk? Like, damn. Okay, now we're working on the USOS, the US orbital segments. So I believe I'm making node 2 right now. So this is node 2. It's pretty tiny, but this is where the astronauts sleep. And it also connects a couple other modules to the station. So we begin with these classy boys. Get my chat back open. All right. So this dock part that made me put on top of the module on the end there, that is where the shuttle used to dock. And yeah, this isn't going to connect up, is it? No. But that is now covered with a little adapter, and that's now where the Starliner and Dragon dock. Or at least just the Dragon. I think the Starliner docks above it. They are actually meant to be docked at the same time. Hello there.
Hello there.
Alright, I see where these soda can pieces are going to go. I'm very impressed by LEGO's push to make these space sets as cheap as they possibly can when deciding on what parts to use and stuff, so that they get it into as many households as possible. That's really cool. Best LEGO trick, buy the finished set.
Yeah.
What? That's like some psychopath thing, like, no.
Next level.
Excuse me. Oh, coffee. Coffee.
Coffee is good.
decision to get the vanilla one.
Yeah.
Taste experience.
Big taste.
Alright. The heck are we working on here? This is meant to be part of the Destiny module. So many little things to make and then put on. I love it. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 of those pieces to finish out the Destiny module. And that Destiny module, which is now attached to this part, is the US laboratory. And it also holds some of the important like computers and avionics for this half of the space station. Now we're working on the Japanese module, which is the JEM, Japanese Experiment Module, I believe. It's actually the one I modeled my my living in space video, or my fursuit space station videos take place in the module I'm about to make. These ones with the holes. And then a cap. This module has an airlock, which only allows the passage of experiments, which they then have a little tiny robot arm that moves those experiments out onto what is called the terrace, which is a platform on the external end, which basically they put a bunch of stuff out there that gets exposed to space or that tracks stars, or it's useful for like just whack a experiment out there, expose it for I don't know, a few months, a few years, and then pull it back inside and send it back down to Earth. Or don't. Or just let it burn up, depending on how you know, whether it's finished its useful lifespan. Where are those pieces located at? There we go. Okay. Alright, and on top of it, this little bit here that sticks out, that is the like this little logistics module. ELM, external logistics module. Oh, no, it's called the PS. I don't know what it stands for, but basically this is where they keep a lot of the experiments before they put them outside. This has also been used as like a place for the astronauts to get dressed in the morning when they didn't have enough places for them to sleep at the time, so he'd slept in the wall and then would go up here to get dressed. Yeah. Alright, now we need to add a spiky boy. Straight through the middle. Okay. And now we're making the robot arm on the external platform. Oh, that's nice. There's the little robot arm. Okay, Peter. Yep, so there's a little robot arm, and now we'll work on the platform. How's it going?
Going good.
Hey.
Making progress.
Okay, this is what those little pieces are for. So these things that I was confused by earlier, these are being used as the experiments that get attached. Also, my leg is giving out for whatever reason. Yeah. All right. Nice.
What are they saying?
Chat?
Yeah.
Chat's not saying particularly much right now.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay. And now we connect it. Yeah, and this connects to node 2, which is the Harmony module, and so we attach that there. And this is actually the front of one half of the front of the ISS, and you can see now the Japanese module is in there with a little robot arm and the external experiment platform, or the external logistics module, or the terrace, various names for it. Dare you to build part of it with fursuit pores on. I thought about it because they have the little holes for my fingers to go through. Haha, no! I would just knock everything out of the way as I'm trying to put things together. That is a terrible idea. I actually want to get this done in some amount of time. If you break something and have to rebuild it, that'll just double the amount of time. I don't want to do that. And you know, I don't want to go challenge mode with this. I actually want to enjoy the building process. All right. Next up, I assume, yeah, we're going to be working on Columbus, the European laboratory module. So, again, we start with a round boy. This is a dream set. I've always wanted the ISS as a Lego set, so I'm really happy that they have it now.
Super cool.
Whoa, did I go off the end or? He's afraid.
Hmm?
He's afraid of simulation. He wants to run away.
How is this even meant to work? How would this help in any situation, this little tool?
To pry apart small parts and also to pry apart sort of the Technic parts.
I mean, like, the pieces that are hard to pry apart are like these two, for example. How does this help?
There's actually a page in the manual on how to do it. There's a page in the manual on how to do it, and I don't remember. Alright, yeah, so this is the end of the experiment, Columbus, the European lab module. And it has this sort of experiment platforms on the top and bottom of the end of it there. They actually added another one to the side, but, well, we need more parts for that. Alright, and yep, that's that one done. So we'll just chuck it on here. Like, oopsie. Oh dear, give me a sec, this is finicky. Dude, clicks the Pine Martin. Hello there, fellow Pine Martin. Aw yeah. Dude. It's like Doom, but instead it's Dude.
NEDM?
NEDM.
Does anyone know about that?
We're boomers, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think we're boomers.
Yeah.
Alright. Hey. It's a thing. This white sticky uppy bit here is probably to brace the side of the truss. It's not there IRL. Okay.
Not even Doom yet.
And now we stick it on here. Somehow, what the? Oh yeah, exactly. Shove that in. Oh god, it's in the way. the truss. And it's like slightly wonky, or is slightly wonky now. Oh, I think it's the truss part that's slightly wonky. What is this tolerance, Lego? This is disgusting. Ah, well, it's fine. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Injection molding.
Yes. Good time. Don't get ill, kids. Oh yeah, the strength is on the other side. Good, good. And I've already popped it off. Oh.
Hmm? What?
The next step in the manual
Oh, oh, I see.
is to put these together. And you're just about ready.
Yeah, just about. There's a little bit more
Uh-huh.
music.
I'll leave this where it is right now because I'm going to keep working on the ISS parts.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to explain them as I'm working on them. What is... Oh, I think I'm beginning the Russian segment here, that's what it is. How am I doing for phone battery? Oh, we're Gucci.
Gucci.
Gucci. We are, in fact, Gucci. Here they are, these pieces. And two of these. Make like a thing out of these. I just stared at the iPad and it like quickly refocused on us and like, has it been breathing? Has it been focus breathing this whole time?
Breathing.
Yeah, focus breathing, yeah. Don't do that, SD's Discord will start making that sound non-stop.
What? Why?
They're all dogs.
Oh no. Okay, there we go. Now we can attach.
Alright. Two of the sort of side bracket things. Where are the side bracket things?
3, 4. I wonder if I can do 5. Will that work?
There they are. Oh. The front's this side. So. Hey Blazer, welcome over. I am currently working on the Russian segment now, as we have completed the US orbital segment, or rather the international segment, it should be called.
Oh, it just kind of sits there.
Oh.
Let's see. Is it like balanced? How does that work? Like it just kind of sits here like this.
Huh.
It kind of touch.
Okay, making it a little bit here. Need one of these roly boys.
Okay, you're doing. Okay, should I? Yeah, I can do 5, right? So if I do these, I have no idea what anything on this thing is called.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
Is that fine, or do you want to do the rest?
I might want to do the rest of the ISS.
Yeah,
actually.
good. Because there's no. I don't think there's any other parts that are.
Okay, that goes on the end.
Actually, I can do the solar panels.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's not much I'm going to be able to talk about with them because I mean, they are just.
Yeah, it's just solar panels.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey.
This corrugated piece. Are we missing a part? Oh no, no. Oh, so many tiny pieces. Is that what my thing looks like so far? I don't even know. I don't even know. Okay. Oh! No, I don't know what this is. Oh, yeah, yeah. This is the part with the airlock. Yeah, that makes sense. It's the airlock. Yeah. This bit's sticking out the side. This is the airlock. The Quest joint airlock. Alright. Come on. This whole shebang. Oh, and it includes the Z1 truss as well. That's what it is. Alright, I'll finish that and then I'll explain what it is.
Since I'm doing solar panels,
Yep.
here's a fun fact about the chemistry or design of solar panels. Is they're very similar to LEDs in structure. So if you put with some solar panels, if you put current into them, they will emit light. And the other way around, if you shine a bright light on the light emitting diode, it will generate a very, very small voltage.
Hey.
Hey. The solar panels usually emit light in like the infrared though, so you need a
I have to speak up.
solar panels, if you put current in them, emit light in usually in the ultraviolet, I think.
No.
No?
Surely
Infrared?
infrared.
Infrared, yeah.
Heat.
Not infrared, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So you'd have to,
You'd have to use an IR camera.
yeah.
This piece, alright. Okay. And these are antennas. Nice egg. Do you like my egg? It's too big.
It's just way too large.
Here, it's it's huge. Yeah. Let's see how this one works. Alright, I see now. Alright. So, this is the airlock here, and then on top of it is this construction called the Z1 truss. The Z1 truss has these two antennas, space to ground 1 and space to ground 2, which connect to, I believe, they connect to satellites, which then connect to the ground. And then inside of here, the white thing, they actually have control moment gyros. They're constantly spinning wheels that they can orient, and it will actually change the orientation of the station. And every now and then they're spinning so fast they can't spin any faster, so they need to then slow them down, and in doing so they also need to actually commit a thruster fire of the space station. That's quite rare. But that is called saturation, when you've saturated the speed of your control moment gyros. And in in Kerbal Space Program, they're simplified to just being reaction wheels. But they are a little bit different to regular reaction wheels. They're just a little bit more complex. Alright, that's gone on. Many replica ISSs can fit in that egg, yes. Actually, a replica ISS was built out of Lego on the ISS, but because Lego is tiny and can be inhaled, it was actually completely made inside of a like a plastic bag, like a see-through plastic bag. And one of the Japanese astronauts was the one who took it up there to build. So it's like having to make it inside of a glove box, except it's just Lego. Are you doing the fancy? Oh,
Yeah.
that's very fancy. It's very nice.
Mhm.
Insta-it. Grammet, sorry. What do they call it? What am I? Oh, I think I'm now building Zarya, the first module of ISS that was sent up on a Proton rocket from Russia, from Kazakhstan, with a Pizza Hut logo on the side. Fun fact, just search Pizza Hut rocket, you'll see a picture of it. It's great. Although some of the pictures of it are fake, I will say, but there is a real one out there. And it's also called the FGB, Functional Cargo Block, in Russian.
What's it called in Russian?
I don't know. I'm not Russian. I mean, the name of the module is Zarya.
Zarya.
But if you search Zarya these days, all you get is the character from Overwatch. It means star, I believe? Either star or dawn, I've forgotten. It's Zarya and Zvezda.
Oh.
And that's what they mean, like star and dawn.
Red star. Wormwood.
I should actually like pay attention to the instructions. What is this file? Oh, this is node 2. Node 3. I'm working on node 3. Node 3 has the treadmill, the exercise equipment inside of it, and also the toilet. It also has basically the storage room of the ISS is this massive module for storage called the PMM, Permanent Multipurpose Module, attached to it, which is what I've just put on here. And on the other side, it has a experimental module called Beam, which is an expandable module that basically inflates and it's armored to hell. And that's actually doing really well, that module. It was only meant to be up there for a while, but it's working so well that they're just keeping it as an extra storage room because they need it. They need it really bad. Now, there are some changes to the ISS that have occurred since it was designed, so I'm actually gonna fix that.
Oh, that's awesome. Make it more accurate to the real one.
I'm not sure how easy that'll be to do though, because it's actually kind of upside down. I think, yeah, so right now on the end of this module here, it's calling for me to place this black piece, which is this is PMA3. PMA is pressurized mating adapter. This is what they use to connect the modules of the ISS to spacecraft, like the shuttle, like the upcoming Dragon and Starliner. But it's been moved from this location to instead the top of this location here, on top of node 2. So I am just going to do a little flipperoo. Oh, I can't do a flipperoo. I can try to do a flipperoo. I'll just do a really jank flipperoo. Yep. Just a representative flipperoo. That works, whatever. And then we'll instead just put a cap on the end of this one. Oh, it's this way up, isn't it? Yes, this is the part that I told you I was worried about being in the wrong place.
Yeah.
This is in the correct place.
This is the most satisfying thing in the universe. Look at this.
Just using a ruler to
Screen conceals.
organize everything. I think they can. Alright. So that's the PMM. Oh wait, it's like Oh, and the cupola. The cupola's on the bottom. This is the cupola piece. Oh, that's nice. It's like this with the windows. And just put that on the bottom. And then beam goes on the side. And its beam is kind of round because it's an expandable module. It's basically an inflatable module, but they wouldn't want me to say that because it's a bit more complex than simply inflatable, but yeah. Alright, what the? Oh, blue thing. Hey, there we go. Okay. So yeah, we're going to be making this a little bit more up to date than Lego did. And yep, that goes the opposite side to the airlock. So I wouldn't rotate this to show. Oh, I can rotate this to show you guys.
Oh,
There we go.
You did it.
Oh yeah, I messed up your thing, but congratulations. Sorry about that. Alright, and it goes in this way.
Actually, what if you can have this over there?
That's a good idea, so you
more
can work
more
on this.
center frame as well.
Your solar panel's gonna be massive, so right like that.
Yeah, it'll be more centered as well. People can see it.
Yep. And so now we put it in under the truss in this location here. Alright. Splendid. Alright. More coffee. Coffee. Drink some coffee.
I already had all the stuff.
Oh no. Do you even lift, bro? What do you mean, Blazer?
Do you even lift?
Do you even lift? What is? Am I making Zarya now? I'm confused. I don't know what I'm making. I would assume so. It's the next thing on the list. In terms of like ISS stuff. It's a beautiful replica. Like, it's simplified, but it still has all the things, except AMSO2, of course. But we don't really necessarily need that. I'm sure the team behind it is okay with no, they really should have included it. I'll find a way of building it. We need it. It's important.
What does it look like? Is it like a box?
It's kind of like a hexagonal box with like shields on two sides of it. It's
Okay.
a really interesting kind of design.
Hmm.
It's actually really cool looking, but. Alright, and then we put some solar arrays on here. I'm gonna make sure all the solar arrays are straight. This is gonna be a pain. Then again, the real life ones aren't straight, so. Okay. Oh, that was instruction number 69. Nice.
Nice. Well
Nice.
Well no.
There's a red thing. Jam that in there. Okay, then a washer. And then this thing goes upside down. What the hell? Oh, then this thing does not go upside down. On top. Oh, what? Hold on. No, that's not right. What? Okay, I'm confused, guys. This, I believe, is some kind of, it's like a, I don't know what it is. They're trying to get me to put it underneath node 1. But nothing docks underneath node, oh! This is the HTV. This is the Japanese, I think this has got to be like the Japanese resupply craft or something. Or no, it's Cygnus. There we go. Okay, this is Cygnus. This is the Northrop Grumman resupply craft. And it docks underneath Node 1. Yeah, that's what this is. Alright. I didn't realize they would even put Cygnus in, but they actually did, so that's really cool. And yeah, that goes underneath Node 1 right here. Yeah. Just go there. Might put some power in this. There we go. That's really cool. Love the Fuel Rats shirt. Yeah, represent. If you ever run out of fuel in Elite Dangerous, we will come rescue you. Just come to our website, fuelrats.com. Alright, we're gonna stab this ISS. Give me a
Put the
sec.
people on the spacecraft. There we go. Now they're on the spaceships.
Oh yeah, on the spaceship.
I guess they have the suits, so it should be fine.
Alright. The Just Cause definition of on a vehicle.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that game's awesome.
The name is a great double entendre as well.
Oh yeah,
Just cause.
yeah. So good. That must be intentional.
Yeah, it must be intentional.
Because it's like a parody of GTA kind of.
Yeah, it's like it's a Just Cause. Or it's Just Cause.
Yeah, it's if what's it called? If GTA is like a crime drama in a video game,
Yeah.
Just Cause is the action movie as a video game.
Just skewering the ISS here. Oh yeah, we're making one of the Nadir, which is the Earth-facing Russian modules now, I believe.
What do that means?
Hmm?
Downwards?
Yeah, it's something to do with downwards. Ned.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like Swedish.
Yeah, well, it comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
And the upper is Zenith. And Zen comes from that.
Mm.
Alright. Then this brown boy.
If I see anyone using Zenith in code, I'm gonna throw a fit.
Why?
So it's like,
It's like physically based
Aesthetic.
rendering stuff. They use like Zenith, Azimuth, and stuff like that.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
for atmospherics and stuff. Because we want to do,
And stars, yeah.
because the standards for at least transformation spaces is left, right, up, down, back, forward.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so if you like called it Nadir and Zenith.
Yeah, I would be like, God, it would be so confusing.
Now, Crew Dragon and Starliner are cool and all, but is Dreamliner still planning on launching? Dreamliner is a plane, and it has already flown many times. You can get on one today if you want to.
Kind of money.
Yeah, basically. Very fancy.
Money, money, money. Okay.
Cobra Strike.
Cool. Copy strike. Okay. 8 decks, so I'll make 8 of these. Cool. Wonder if I can. I wish I had more desk real estate so I could like do them like this.
Oh yeah.
That would be funny.
Well, we gotta be in front of the camera and stuff. So
Yeah, 'cause it's like a limited.
we're streaming on an iPad right here. So I have an iPad on like a weird rig. Oh, you know the thing I used to hold the iPad in my space videos? That's the old iPad that I use. This is the new iPad, but I'm using the same thing to hold this one, and it's attached then to like a tripod in a really jank way, which is the only way to do it. Just, yeah. If you don't do it in a jank way, then what are you doing? What the hell are those? Okay, this is interesting.
Nadir? Nadir?
Yep.
Nadir sounds cool.
You can say whatever you want, really don't care.
Was it British? No.
I don't know. Never heard it pronounced. I know there's a song on the Journey OST called Nadir when you go
Oh.
underground, but
Oh, huh. That's cool.
like Downward Bound or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a Soyuz. This is Soyuz, which is the Russian crewed spacecraft
Yeah.
attached to one of the Russian pressurized modules. Not sure which module though, so it depends on where it goes. Oh, it goes underneath. Okay, this is Rasviet.
Razviet.
Yeah, Rasviet. This, if you recall in the old images of the ISS, there used to be like a bit that stuck up from the ISS with more solar panels on it, but then that's not a thing anymore. That part actually had a part that was pressurized that astronauts could go into. And instead, when that part was cancelled, they took just the pressurized part, launched that on its own with some extra stuff bolted onto it for contractual purposes. The US actually agreed to launch so much mass for the Russians that this was cut down in scope, so they had to just bolt some other extra crap on it just to fulfill their mass obligations. And then that was actually set to the bottom of the ISS. So we're now throwing that on here. Oh, hey, and it has on top of it also has a Poisk, I believe. Piers and Poisk are some identical modules that are above and below the ISS.
I'm curious. Do they like? I assume they didn't just bolt scrap metal to it.
No, it's
there's some kind of more experiments. I
yeah.
guess?
So there's a small radiator, like a spare radiator,
Mhm.
and also a future airlock module, which could in the future be attached to one of the other modules.
Okay.
And some like extra parts for the robot arm or something, for the Russian robot arm. There's a lot of robot arms.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's gone on. And I want to show here, be very careful, it's gone on just the back there.
Oh yeah, is this being? I guess YouTube has it records it.
I'm not sure what the settings are for this stream in particular, but I will.
I just do a time lapse.
No one's mentioned that they can't go back, so I assume it's got DVR.
That means it
See you,
doesn't.
fish.
That means it doesn't have DVR. DVR is.
Oh, it does have it. Look, I can. There's
Oh, you can scrub
there is
it.
a thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's scrubbing.
yeah. Yeah, that's what the delay is, like 2 seconds instead of like a quarter second.
Yeah. And now I think we are starting on Zarya, which is it used to be the main service module of the ISS, but when Zvezda was added, Zarya became just a cargo module. It also has a massive air conditioner inside it, which you can hit your head on. So be careful if you ever go to the ISS. Don't hit your head on it. The Russians also have a toilet there, I believe. I'm not sure. The Russian segment I don't know so much about. If any of you want to see what the ISS looks like on the inside, the whole thing, because it's massive, the ESA, the European Space Agency, has an amazing like 360 panorama thing on their site. And Google Maps also now has the ISS as a street view you can go through. Just search International Space Station Google Maps and you'll find it. But don't search it on Google Maps because then you won't find it. It'll just lead you to Houston.
I think the one thing that actually gave me the best perspective on what the ISS is like is
Video tours.
no, there's like this Russian guy who recorded like a fly through kind of like
Oh,
he,
yeah.
he was just like in there, he like talked to someone and then went through the entire ISS like from one side to
Yeah.
the other.
My,
And that just gave the kind of the mood or like the feeling of ISS. It made it really really clear that it's set up just like a lab, like a work site. Like
My
it's super cool.
my favorite tour of the ISS is by Sunita Williams, who was commander, and she did a really good tour of the ISS in English. They go through everything, and that one has the vibe of the ISS as well. Another one I really there's I've forgotten his name. There was a Russian cosmonaut who he uploaded YouTube videos in Russian all throughout his time on the ISS. He would just record them, upload them. They're not like done through the space agency. They're not done in any kind of like high budget way.
It's just his YouTube
They're just
channel.
him like with a phone on just his own YouTube channel, just taking videos of his daily life and like showing the view out his bedroom window of the aurora at night. It's really cool. If you can, I don't know how to find it though, but it's like stuff like how do they cut their hair on the ISS and things like that. And if I find it, I'll tweet it because it's really really cool. A couple of them were taken off. Oh, his name's Oleg. I've
Yeah,
forgotten.
that's him. Yeah.
Oleg Kononenko. But yeah, if I find it, I'll tweet it. By the way, follow me on Twitter. It should be in my description.
I really like those because it's usually for ISS stuff, it's kind of really polished and they're like, the people talking are usually like media, like
They're talking to media and stuff.
Exactly,
Yeah.
he's like representing the ISS.
Yeah.
But the other guy clearly isn't. He's just working there and he takes little videos and it's super cool.
Yeah.
It's super neat.
And of course, if any of you haven't seen it yet, you have to see Chris Hadfield's Space Oddity
yeah.
cover. He covered David Bowie's Space Oddity, and David Bowie saw it and was like, "Oh my god, this is the perfect version of the song." And yeah, covered it while on the ISS, and recorded it while on the ISS. So it's just amazing. If you haven't seen that, search Space Oddity and you will find it. It's the definitive version of the song. Rest in peace, Bowie.
Yep.
Rip, etc. Thank you, Rusty. And I believe this is another Soyuz that I'm putting in here. Yes. And this is attached to Poisk, one of the little tiny modules that fill up on its own. This is getting very finicky. Oh my god.
Whoa, it just like extends.
It's long. Okay, it's easier if I pull the ISS towards me. Alright. Oh, and more thingies. Alright. And now we're making Zvezda, which is the Russian service module which has the ISS's engines on it. Okay. These are Zadia's solar panels. However, Zadia's solar panels are currently folded in. Oh yeah, that's why they're shorter. Zvezda's are longer. Cool. They actually did do that.
Cool. That's really awesome. Building Lego teaches you about batching operations.
Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this isn't quite as much an engineering marvel as the Saturn V. That one was nuts. That said, it is really cool engineering how they were able to make it as cheap as it is. I guess because it's mostly air, it's just big. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily support its own weight either, it just has a stand. The stand is made out of a lot of black parts. Okay, now we are working on Zvezda. No touches here.
I wonder if there are mathematical models for this batching behavior of reality, of lots of things. Like if you want to make a computer go fast, you do lots of similar things one after another, and then you do lots of other similar things one after another. Like if you want to add a bunch of numbers together, and then you want to multiply a bunch of numbers together, you do all the adds first, then you do all the multiplies afterwards. You kind of batch things. This is true for Lego as well. Like if you have 5 or 100 things you want to do, and each of them takes 5 steps. You do step 1 of all of them, then you do step 2 on all of them, then you do step 3 on all of them. That's kind of weird. Seems to be like a fundamental property of doing things.
Hmm. Surely I haven't forgotten the part, have I? Like, okay. It's those. It's that thing. It's just that. That and that. How is there only a little bit sticking out? Alright. I'm gonna do a bit of surgery here, y'all.
Y'all.
Yeah, I say y'all.
Y'all. Yarl?
Yarl? Earl.
Earl? Earl.
Oh, Christ.
Jarl
almighty.
Grey Earl.
Oh, hey! I may not have been all the way though.
Ooh.
Oh, it's actually attached pretty firmly to the stand now.
Here's the strategy.
You're just using like just the grip of your finger.
Yeah.
Nice. Alright, and then the last piece, which caps off the end. Yes. Okay, we do it. Is it rocket surgery if it's on the ISS? Any of you remember when that hole was found in the Soyuz? That to find more evidence, they went outside the Soyuz with their spacesuits on. One guy was grabbing one of the cloth straps in the Soyuz, and then in his other hand was grabbing another astronaut's back. And the astronaut whose back was being held had both of his hands free and a massive fuck-off knife in one hand. And was just going at the side of the Soyuz and saying how horrible it felt to be attacking the ISS with a knife. Just to take off the material to see if there's any evidence of how the hull was made. They did not find any extra evidence with that.
Here's a weird question.
Yep.
What would a realistic way be to bring the ISS into moon orbit?
Into moon orbit?
Yeah. How would you
Um,
go about doing that?
to go about doing
If you
that,
wanted to do that.
you would dock a spaceship, which was specifically a tug, to the back of the ISS with lots of fuel. You would extremely slowly, like painfully slowly and gently, start boosting up the ISS's orbit. When it ran out of fuel, you replace it with another tug. At this point, the ISS is in a much higher orbit, and you would then send it to a higher orbit. Send this tug to the higher orbit, rendezvous with the ISS, continue boosting it. Every time, you would have less fuel available to boost the ISS because your tug will have to expend more fuel just getting to the ISS. Alternatively, you just use more and more rocket to get the same tug to the higher orbit every time until the ISS can get to the moon. And then you would have to give it some kind of really big but gentle tug, space tug, to insert it into lunar orbit. But that's quite a naive approach that I just thought up. That last part is by far probably the hardest part.
Yeah, because you gotta.
Because the thing you need to get up there, like the ISS is massive. And by massive, I mean it has a lot of mass.
Yeah.
You'd have
It's a
to,
big thing.
yeah, you'd have to have a huge space tug, and you'd have to send that all the way to the moon.
Yeah.
And it would dock with the ISS just before the lunar transfer. It would then transfer the ISS to the moon with just a little bit of power. By this point, the ISS is already up near lunar orbit, at its highest point of its orbit. This would take like 10 years or something stupid like that.
I assume you'd still want to be cycling people in the ISS.
Yeah, so each time you need more power to get people to the ISS each time.
And so like, I'm curious about because they're planning on building a space station around the moon, right?
Yeah.
They would need a Saturn V tier rocket to get people to that station, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's kind of crazy.
Or just Starship. Easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of
Starship can do it without any issue. You can take 100 people to the station.
Yeah, but the amount of energy expended is the same. It's a big ass rocket.
Oh yeah, it's just a big ass rocket.
Yeah.
But also keep in mind, Saturn V, you had to do everything at once. Starship distributes it over multiple launches because of the refueling. That's a huge deal.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because instead of having to
Yeah.
send the whole thing up.
Do you know why NASA isn't doing the same refueling thing?
Why?
Because Boeing lobbied them not to.
Needs.
So basically, Boeing has control of a senator called Rick Shelby for Alabama. He's a representative.
Alabama.
He basically said, if I hear the term fuel depot mentioned even one more time, I'm canceling NASA.
Oh my god.
And so that was no longer being pursued because Boeing paid for it to not be pursued. Because it makes Boeing less money than developing SLS, which is dumb. To do it all at once, because that makes us the most money.
Hey.
If you actually work for Boeing, I don't have a problem with you. You probably understand these issues the same way, like from the inside. Okay, were you on bag 5? No,
No.
I need bag 5.
Here's
please.
bag 5.
Thank you. Hold up. Why are there so many extra Soyuz? There's an extra Soyuz there. Oh, it's for like the being
I think they're
displayed?
for having it at the bottom,
Okay.
next to the display thing.
Oh, so you can do like a crew transfer if you want to. That's
Oh
kinda fun.
yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, I love the little
Yeah, it's
OMS
clever.
pods. So you can see the 3 RS-25s at the back of the shuttle. And also to the side, there's the little OMS, orbital maneuvering sister pods, which are what the shuttle uses to control itself while in space.
Yeah.
They use a monopropellant.
It's a little.
And this is the bottom of the shuttle in the Lego set, by the way. This is how they did the heat tiles. That's cute. That's really nice. Now we need to find a way of docking it to the ISS because there's no, like, we need an adapter or something to do that. Oh, I could probably figure out a way actually. I think there's a part that'll allow us to do it.
Like, donk.
Oh, God.
Attach. Attachment complete.
Alright. Spare parts can go away.
Are these actually orange on the back?
It's more a subsurface scattering thing.
I'm always confused. The Russian ones always look brown.
That's because, yeah, why? I mean, you know, different
Different
DV arrays,
design, yeah.
different designs, different materials, different costs. The Russian space stations famously need extra power from the Americans.
Yeah. Oh no. That's
Yeah, Mir is the biggest example of that. The power kept on degrading on the solar panels on the Russian
Oh.
space station Mir over time. One of the reasons for this, I mean, is the fact that the space station, all of its P, it would just shoot out into space. But this isn't a spacecraft, it's a space station. It's always in that orbit. So all that P formed literally a ring of ice crystals around the Earth, kind of like Saturn, except made of P. And then that got on the solar panels and like eroded them and like covered them in stuff, and it just, it ruined them over time. So they needed more power. So they got and this is the Soviet Union. But toward the end of, either the end of the Soviet Union or like right after, they had the Americans come with the shuttle and bolt on an extra module called, I've forgotten the name. It had a really edgy name. But they had some extra solar panels attached so that they could account for this lost energy. And also so they could do more with the station. Until they crashed into it. The Russians, they did not understand that a ship could have a center of mass that was in the wrong position when you're trying to maneuver it. So they were doing this thing where they had like remote control on the station, and they were moving one of the cargo ships from one side to the other, but they couldn't control it. So it started speeding toward the station, and it slammed into the station and actually knocked up those solar panels and messed up that module so that they were starting to leak air really quickly. And they acted really fast. They took like an axe to the data cables, and the data power cables that actually connected the power from those panels to the station, because they were in the way of blocking the door, and then they closed the door. So they were currently without power completely. And as the station rotated, their existing solar panels yeah, they would no longer be in the sun. So the whole thing would just lose power, and they would just be in silence with the sunlight coming through the windows for several hours, and then of course they'd hit the right rotation again and just get a little bit of power and be able to stabilize. It was scary. Don't crash into your space station. Bad times. Not recommended by anyone. Hello, Clawman Cat. Welcome to the stream. Currently, I'm working on the radiators that are attached to the S1 and P1 truss segments.
They're like white.
Yeah, they're white because they need to reflect light. They're also always perpendicular to the sun so that they get the minimum amount of sunlight on them. And that's how you radiate well in space.
Radiating well is important in
Oh, yeah.
space.
Very important. You don't want to get too hot. All those computers, all those experiments, all that stuff you're running on your spacecraft,
All those humans.
and all that sunlight you're getting, it gets hot, and you need to remove that heat. There are a few situations where you want to keep heat, like if you're in a desert planet in the middle of the night or something, or like for example NASA's Opportunity rover, which ran out of power because of how cold it was, how dark it was, and could no longer sustain its temperature. Rest in peace. That was very, very sad, actually.
Humans produce a lot of thermal energy.
We do. Yeah, that's also a problem.
Get rid of it somehow.
Give it to the AI to solve. Get rid of the humans, get rid of the thermal energy.
Hey.
Hey!
Solved.
Solve. Give me something better to optimize, please. Oh, wait. Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, there's no one left. Oh.
Optimized.
Optimized. I did it. Yay, happy face. Everyone is dead.
We got hella of these.
Thank you. That saves a lot of time. Thank you. Alright, I'm just going to sort these out. All these little robot hand parts, what are these? Alright, all the fiddly bits, they can stay there. Alright. Excuse me. Even more pieces. Spilled beans. Alright. You want to be reading chat, or? There's not much chat going by, so.
Yeah, they're good.
Okay.
We'll be hanging around for a little bit more, and then I'll probably go program.
Alright. The way you open the bags puts me on edge. What, Rusty? Come on.
How do you open the bag?
Okay, he's like a. Rusty's like a Lego expert.
Oh. I wonder if he appreciated my, like...
I've always opened it like a
Immaculate.
packet of crisps.
Oh, like on the corner?
No, in the middle, by like you go.
Oh, you do that?
Yeah, yeah. I don't do that. He does that.
I do this.
Yeah, like I do that too. I
Across,
just
yeah.
tear it across.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
then you can like clear it out really nicely.
Oh, that's not the right piece.
I think the Adam Savage method is the
What does he do?
best. Like I don't know about the bags, but the laying
Oh.
everything out really organizedly.
It was very methodical, Stinger.
Wow.
You put it on the ground and stamp on it. This is not recommended.
Perfect. Solved.
Okay, so we have to make 2 of these. There's a couple places where I think the instructions could do a clearer job, but generally it's pretty good this time.
Oh, man. This is an OCD night. This would be an OCD nightmare. Getting these straight.
Yeah, that would be. Don't worry about it too much. The real ones aren't that straight anyway.
Yeah. doesn't matter really. As long as they
Yeah.
point at the sun.
Also, they get banged around and vibrated, and they get
Oh,
little
yeah.
bits of space crap flying through them.
They're pretty sturdy, aren't they? Because they're on the outside,
No,
right?
they're not that sturdy though.
No? I mean, the ship gets hit with debris every now and then.
Yeah, the solar panels are like a fabric. It's like
Yeah.
a
The debris would just
translucent
like go through
plastic.
them, I guess.
Um,
I wonder what the layout is.
was
for
did you
the-
see the Lego shuttle I got for Christmas? It's like a mid-sized version of the one from the set. Yeah, I did. Lego also sells an SLS. Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, no, we saw it in the shop. It's
Kind of
based on the SLS.
jank, I says.
Yeah, it's like
Janko
a
SS.
weird looking one. Okay, I see. The attachment points. And they go here. Yeah. And these rotate left and right depending on the beta angle. So depending on what angle the sun is to the station. Alright, nice. What? Oh, there's some extra crap. Okay. They're really expecting us to put the stuff on while it's on the stand? That's really jank. Little antennas and stuff. And a claspy thing. There it is. Oh, that must be to carry one of the ELCs, external logistic carriers, or ESPs, external stowage platforms. Yes, we're doing an ESP, an external stowage platform. These are used to carry spare parts and stuff. Yep, and placed on this are just like a bunch of random bits to look like spare parts. And that goes here. Then I think space to ground 3, just another antenna. Heck. Gain that. And there's one more space to ground antenna, I believe. I need 3 of these boys. I'm liking this truss, it's very detailed. That goes there. this is a different band of antenna, I believe. Or we're actually making AMSO2. This is where I would expect AMSO2 to be, so this actually might just be the alpha magnetic spectrometer, but like made in a weird looking way. Like they misinterpreted what it was when they designed it or something. It does kind of look like what it is, sir. Alright. Looks kind of like an S-band antenna. At least I think that's what it looks like, but that's not actually what it is. It's just the alpha magnetic spectrometer. Goes here. Loop. And then there's like a rod. Oh yeah, this rod is the boom for the robot arm, for the Canadarm. It's a bit longer than that, but yeah. All right, and another ESP, external. No, hold on. Yeah, external storage platform. This one has some other crap on it. Let's see. Little fiddly bits. How are you doing now, chat? Haven't heard from you in a little while. Right, and there's that other little platform piece. And that goes here, I believe. And now we're doing the ones on the bottom. Good amount of detail they're getting into here. There's a few of the smaller ones that they haven't included, but I mean, I can't blame them because they're quite small and they're really hard to get to places. And those would be the ESPs, and they have the, I forgot what they're called. Got a slightly different name.
Apparently Russia is going to be investing more into nuclear power.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let's hope they don't cheap out.
Yeah, that's super cool.
3D modeling in Blender, that's good. All good, how are you? I'm good. I do enjoy good Lego set. Yeah, just please Russia, please just use heavy water already. Bloody hell.
I
Come
think
into the 20th century.
I assume the power plants currently operating are pretty safe.
Well, remember Lithuania entered the EU?
Mm-hmm.
There's only really one term for it to be able to do that,
Yeah.
which was goddamn shut down your RBMK. That's why Ignalina is no longer a functional nuclear reactor. It is a tourist site for basically for Chernobyl tourists who don't want to actually go to Chernobyl.
It's fascinating. I mean, yeah, it's interesting that what's it called? RBMK reactors are still operating just fine. Like yeah, they are.
Where? Tell me.
I remember this is a thing.
I think this is Space to Ground 4. This one here.
RBMK reactors don't explode.
I can't actually tell where it's supposed to go. No. Okay, it goes here.
Yep, there's 10 of them still operating.
Still operating?
Yes.
Huh.
It's a good design. That's the thing, it works.
It's a cheap design.
I mean, if you have the correct systems in place, it's completely fine.
Yeah.
And I mean, they fixed the problem that Chernobyl had, and now they don't have that problem anymore.
The fix I heard is a very lame fix. It's not. It's like.
It's like, don't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the the kind of tech they had at Ignalina before they had to close it down.
Yeah.
Actually, the tech they built for it, they still have to run it while it's cooling down,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, for a long while
for like
afterwards.
5 years or so.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have like a really like a full futuristic control room and stuff, like digital everything.
Hmm.
They did upgrade it for that. This goes on this side, yes. Oh, ELC, that's what it was called. Yeah, external logistics carrier, I think. And this one goes here. Mera Kärnkraft. Alright. Robot arm time! Canadarm 2. Canada made this robot arm and it's amazing. Okay, we need 2 of these, 3 of these.
Kandarm.
boys.
Kandarm.
Okay, this is actually pretty complicated. So, that, long spindly boy.
Oh yeah, I looked at the mulled wine
Oh yeah?
for the expiry days.
Yeah.
It's like 2050 or something.
Holy crap!
And it's like, okay, that's neat. That's a weird feeling. It's like it does have an expiry date, but it's like in 30 years.
Yeah,
Like, what?
it just gets, it gets better with time basically.
Yeah,
Unless you allow it to have access to oxygen, in which case it becomes vinegar.
yeah.
Okay, and this, you gotta turn this around here.
It's like fascinating that it has an expiry date at all.
Oh, this can actually move along the boom.
Ooh,
along
what?
the
That's
along
so
the
cool.
along the track, yeah. You know, I mentioned the track.
The rail.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put it.
Does the ISS have these little doodads?
Yep, that's Space Diagram 1, 2, 3, and there's another one back here, 4.
Oh,
Those
is
are the
it
different,
Upside down?
Yep, well, it's not upside down, it's like sideways. Those, and I think the sideways one, in case the ISS enters a rotation it can't come out of.
Okay.
And in that case, it would be used for communicating with the ground in a time of need.
Hmm.
But they still use Space Ground 4 for like private calls and stuff. 1 and 2 tend to be the public ones that are broadcast on the live stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have like a 24/7 stream.
Yeah, and on that one they have Space Ground 1 and 2. But the other ones they use for private calls.
Nice.
Um,
And internet.
at this point, they should just send me to the ISS because they know more about it than some astronauts probably. Yeah, gravity just made me research everything about the ISS I could possibly find,
Oh yeah.
including the weird PDFs that only 3 people have read.
Yeah, I was saying the astronauts need to know a lot, but for a lot of things they only need to know what they need to
Exactly.
know.
So like,
Like, and then,
yeah. So Chris Hadfield was like try hard mode. He really, really wanted to go again. So he learned every single thing about the ISS, every piece of documentation they
I
had.
mean, if
He
you're the
like-
commander, you're expected to know
Oh yeah, yeah.
everything.
But this is before he was commander.
Oh yeah.
Actually, no. This is for his first time, I believe. After he was a shuttle astronaut for a mission, and yeah, he basically was like, I will learn everything about the ISS. You will give me an exam on everything about the ISS, and you will send me to the goddamn ISS.
Cool.
And then they did.
Nice.
He is amazing. Here they are. There's tons of them.
I wonder if he could recite from memory every single crew member who's ever been on the ISS.
Oh no,
No? Probably not. That would be funny.
it's a lot now. Like they have like 6 to 9 people a year,
Hmm.
and it's been 20 years.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like 400 people or more. That's it's an amazing laboratory. It should exist for as long as possible. I mean, every now and then you'll see, like, oh, the ISS has to be deorbited on this year. It's not true. Basically, the space station is a massive web of contracts written up between different countries. And obviously, if you're going to agree to a contract, you want that contract to have some sort of expiry date so that
Yeah.
then you can write a new one. You don't want it to just be forever.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the situation with the ISS. You know, it's like, oh, there will just be an expiry date for these contracts, and then they will write a new date.
Yeah.
And then one day Russia will run out of money,
Yeah.
and then someone will have to buy their part of the space station.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure, if that actually ended up happening, that they ran out of money, they would just sell it. And either there would be some kind of push from the US to buy it, or a commercial provider would buy it for cheap. All these things are quite possible.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's not unheard of. They were going to sell Mir once it was at the end of its lifetime. They actually basically sold Mir to a company. The company then sent up 2 astronauts,
Huh.
or cosmonauts, to check it out to see if it was still viable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was not viable.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Mir became horrible.
Deorbit.
They were like trying to clean up and take all the useful things back down to Earth, basically.
Mm.
And during their travels, they found behind one of the panels, they just found this gigantic, like basketball-sized globe of water that had just been floating there for years, that no one had spotted. Like the whole thing the place was covered in mold, it smelled. Yeah, it's not worth. They just burned this thing. So it ended up burning over the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, Mir was quite the meme.
We went through a lot of shit.
It did. There's fires and it crashes, and the fall of the whole Soviet Union kind of happened. That was the guy who was left on Mir because they couldn't afford to replace him if he came back down to Earth at the time, because the Soviet Union was kind of not a thing anymore. So he had to stay up there for ages, and like his couple-month mission turned into a 3-month mission, turned into a 6-month mission, turned into a 10-month mission. He just had to stay up there pretty much on his own as other people rotated through. And eventually, the Russians got their shit together and they're like, okay, finally we can send up someone to replace you to look after the station in the meantime. And because of his efforts looking after Mir, he was actually allowed to be the very first person to enter the International Space Station.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he was the first person on the ISS. Because he was like the last of, for a while he was the last of the God of Mir. So
That's
that was really
awesome.
cool of them.
That's really cool, yeah.
Excuse me. Alternative title, let's build the last hope against the coronavirus. All right. I was at a seminar in VR that was about the coronavirus. It was given by a microbiologist. Basically, it's about as deadly as the flu in terms of the rate of killing people, but that's not the problem. The problem is how quickly it spreads. It's not just that it'll kill the weak, it's that it'll kill all of the weak. So we need to contain this thing as quickly as possible. Basically, that is the main issue. It's not how deadly it is, it's how quickly it spreads. It'll just get everyone. Well, not everyone, but say around, I don't know, 800 million people or so, based on the simulation I saw. But that simulation was also one of those kind of worst case scenario things. So, different simulations for different people, different flavors of the future. I know. Don't take anything I say as fact about this thing, but essentially, it's just how quickly it spreads is the issue.
If you live in any kind of westernized country, you're fine. You'll
Yeah, exactly.
Do not worry even a little bit.
I'm on immunosuppressants, but I am on such a small amount that, like, if I got the coronavirus, I would just stop taking those immunosuppressants, and the coronavirus would act as my immunosuppressant. But for people who are very immunocompromised, bad news to get any kind of illness, and they're just more likely to get this one because of how quickly it spreads. And how silently it spreads as well. That's the scary part. Oh, cool. This doesn't need to be connected like this, like Snap. But it is, because it's another part of the ISS that was bolted on. That's kind of nice. Just for fun.
What is this?
So this is the Columbus European lab.
Mhm.
This is node 2, which is where the astronauts live.
Oh yeah, this is the habitable part.
Yep.
Like this.
Destiny module is in there.
Right.
This is the Japanese experiment module. This is where they saw the experiments. And that's where they exposed the experiments to space with a little arm to move in and out of the airlock.
The truss is like big.
Oh, the truss is huge. Yeah, I mean, they have a cart that, like, that goes along this rail so the astronauts can actually get around because it's so big. And of course, it just keeps going.
That's really cool.
Right. So, does that just... Hey, that's kind of cool. Memes. 2x. Oh god. I gotta go back and do this again, I forgot. Okay. Oh, my leg. How? Yeah, look. I've been like sitting weirdly or something. I don't know what it is. Ugh. This is magical. I can just set my iPad up like this with a light and I'm streaming. That's really cool. I like that. Let's see. Try and speed run the second one. Oh yeah, you were there no better. I forgot. You were at the same VR seminar. Yeah, you know. Okay. Yeet. Blam. Blam. Okay. Put these guys on. And these, I believe, are the S3 and P3 truss segments. And I'm also adding the S4 and P4 truss segments on top of them as well, which is the part on the end, like this part. Right. There's that one. There's that one. I'm gonna make a bit that sticks to this side of it. Okay. And that goes like there. Hiya. Okay. Oh, okay. So I have Malaysian family who are in London currently, and I'm half Chinese Malaysian, you see. And apparently they've been getting a lot of legroom on the London Tube because people think they're Chinese, and these people who are very Chinese averse right now, quite a bit prejudiced, but they are very Chinese averse because of all the coronavirus media. They are keeping well away from my Malaysian family. So my Malaysian family, what they did was they put like a note. They just like put a clothes peg and pegged a note to their shirt saying, "I am Malaysian, not Chinese. I do not have the coronavirus. Please stay away from me anyway." All right. that's that piece is done. And this is attaching the P4 to the P3. Click. There we go. Wonderful. Now they should just, yep, they go straight on the ball sockets. And in this case, they're not really ball sockets because they're constrained by the blocks, so that they're just hinges. Or they're just motors, axles? Hold on, I forgot something. I've done a stupid. Alright, there we go. Then we just go shlink, like, again. Okay, one at a time. Let's take it slow. There we go, one. You gotta make this hard for me. Oh my god. Hey, we got it. These are, wow. How do I reattach this? Like that? No, it's not. That? That? Okay, I guess like kind of like that. All right, these do a spinny. I'm gonna be careful with them. It's getting big. It's getting big. All right. Solar panels are next, I presume. Oh, we got a few more parts to put on. Ugh. I see. All right. I'm putting some parts in the bottom of this. Not very special, so I won't have to turn it around to show you. Oh my god. There we go. And two more. And there. And yeah, we're going to stick these claspy boys in so that I can attach the dingus, the radiators. This is very fiddly and there's 8 of them, so give me a sec here. Oh, this is a beautiful build though, it's so beautiful. Alright, and then the radiators go on. And these radiators are always perpendicular to the solar panels, so that they basically never see the sun, which you do want. You don't want to be taking up heat with them, you want to be removing heat with them. They have a liquid cooling loop that goes through the station using ammonia as the coolant. Nasty stuff, but very good for cooling. I haven't seen Scott Manley building this, so I wonder how information dense his was compared to mine. He's also got some kids to entertain, I presume. Well, unless they're really not kids anymore at this stage. Alright, and now the solar panel part, which thankfully Torvid was kind enough to make all the solar panels for us. All 8 PV arrays. Actually, it's more like 16, isn't it? Excuse me. So, once those are assembled, you put them together, and then you attach them like so. This is probably the coolest moment of the build where it really starts to shine. So I'm going to jump forward a couple bits here. Alright, so there's a dragon capsule you can attach somewhere. Yeah, I know how we can attach that. We can attach that. There's also a crew dragon, but I don't see how there's a way of attaching the crew dragon because it's like the wrong way around. So I think we might attach it to the top instead. All right, let's go for this. So, PV arrays, here we go. They're going on?
Final assembly?
Yep.
Here we go.
Just kind of want to get the little slots not facing up. Oh dear.
Finicky, is it?
Yeah, a little bit, but. Oh, I messed that one up. How wide did these go? Oh, as wide as possible, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pictures, it was like ambiguous. So maybe it was in the middle. So never mind. These are OCD friendly.
Yeah. Just gonna line them up. Not as wide as possible.
Oh.
They form a square. They form a rectangle with the grey pieces, with the rods.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Like the edges of the, what's it called?
Bounding
The
boxes.
blue and the gray align.
Yeah, it's like bounding boxes. Yeah.
That makes sense.
All of the little graphics on them are like slightly misaligned or something.
Oh.
I don't know. Like they're all printed in slightly different parts of the assembly line. Or
I wonder how that printing works. Because it's a printer.
it's paint, yes.
And what's like the correct configuration for these?
I can do that. So we have to decide on a sunlight angle.
Should be
and
like that one, dude. Big light.
the light in the room.
Yeah, that would be funny.
All right.
That's
let's see
more
what's
we
going
put
on
it, I
in chat. That's awful no better.
Oh.
Alternative title: Tall Michael Reeves builds something that isn't just a meme. Anyways, so that's an ISS. What we can do is we can configure the PV arrays in a way that would simulate a certain sunlight angle, which I'd really like to do. So, say if we set the radiators to be at this angle, we also set. Oh, hold on, no. We can set the radiators to be at like this angle. Make sure the angle's the same.
I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
where would this attach? But then I realized this thing would be like this. It would be
It's like there, yeah.
like it would be really big. Like
Huh?
it's not this small compared to the ISS, right?
It is.
Really?
ISS is huge!
What? What
Yeah.
the fuck? Never mind. Okay.
Oh, no, you're right. It would be like that big.
Yeah, it would be way bigger.
It would be a bit bigger. Yeah,
Yeah.
like twice the size. Yeah, no, you're right. It would be.
Did they bring up the truss in this?
Yeah, exactly. A segment like this big,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. It's twice the size. Yeah.
That thing's like, where does it attach? Like, hold up, it's way too small.
Yeah, it's not to scale. That's why it doesn't attach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like Dragon though is to scale. So we shall. These are set up like this, and they need to be perpendicular to the sun. So these need to be set up 90 degrees to those.
Nice.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like that. And then always have one that's wrong. Because every now and then, like, there's just one that's wrong, for whatever reason.
Oh my god.
Like, yeah,
Because operating a spaceship is very hard.
yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Just have one that's just doesn't do it correctly. It could be for like thermal management, or maybe like they don't want to produce too much power for a given time.
Yeah. And they have. I'm assuming they want to load balance the whole thing, just like the power grid. Like
Yeah,
you want to match the in-power with the amount of power you're using.
yeah. Okay. And then get all the radiators nice and done. And then I want to like try and rotate this as
Ooh.
Yeah, boy.
That's so cool.
This is glorious.
Can
Okay.
these rotate? No.
If the sun's coming this way, then these should be like there. There it is, baby. International Space Station, super glorious.
Hey.
Knocking everything off the table. Here we have a Soyuz. Actually, this is probably this is Soyuz. Another Soyuz. Progress. Zvezda, Zvadia. Quest, Airlock. Node 3, Beam, PMM. We got Node 1, Destiny module. Node 2, PMA 3, PMA 1. We got Columbus is looking a bit worse for wear. Got the GEM. And we got the space to ground antennas. AMS-02, which is the alpha magnetic spectrometer, is here. We have the external logistics carriers. And then, of course, the truss, the mobile server structure with the Canadarm2, and also the solar arrays. So we've got a few other things to add, I think. This here is a Crew Dragon, and you can even see like the studs actually make the 4 launch abort motors, the Super Drakers, which I love. And so usually this would dock here, but we can't figure out how to dock this using the Lego. So instead I'm going to make it dock up here, which is where the Starliner docks, like so. And we can't get it at the right angle, so we're just going to kind of shove it on. You know what, we can take this part off and replace that part with another part from Node 3, which is closer to what they have in the instructions. And I've broken it. Alright. Yeah, let's just put that part in the wrong place for now. And I'll just replace this part with the little end cap there so we can get the right distancing. Right. That way I guess would be Starliner in that position. Like that. And then we want to add the cargo dragon. So, oh yeah, underneath it we also have Cygnus, which is the Northrop Grumman resupply craft, which I bent the solar arrays. Yeah, you can't see that on here because it's like underneath. And then this is Cargo Dragon, SpaceX Dragon, and that can go here. Wonderful, that's amazing. They really knew their stuff when they built this. And lastly, we have like an extra Soyuz or something. I'm not sure what this is for, but I believe this is for just putting on the on display. So, yeah. Why is there an extra one? Oh, it's for on top. Okay. Yeah, it's for putting like up here or something. It's attached to there. Fully loaded docking ports. Just push it more. No? Okay. Oh yeah. And there's a couple astronauts at the bottom we can put on the stand. Let's put this in the correct place. Okay, the shuttle goes on display down there. Oh, it's beautiful. And you put the two little space people at the bottom. Yeah. That is glorious. Let's make sure it's kind of straight. Alright. I can readjust the camera now. Well, the iPad, basically. Oh, awful sounds. Alright. So yeah, I'll rotate these just a little bit more to make it a bit more interesting. And then we do that, we need to readjust the, let's see, sun is coming this way, so radiators have to angle a bit. There it is, International Space Station in 1 to God knows how small scale. Oh, you see the shiny in the solar rays there. Oh, beautiful. All right, cool. I guess I could pay me like one of your French girls, kind of, so I can get down here in camera view. If you enjoyed, leave a like. And I certainly enjoyed this. This has got to be my favorite Lego set ever, besides the Saturn V, because holy cow, that thing is massive. I got that over here. It's a bit bigger compared to the space station, but just watch me drop it and it falls into a million pieces. I'm gonna take my time with this one. Yeah. This is the size of the Saturn V set for comparison. Just god massive. That has been that. So yeah, thanks for coming along. It's been great. Still have coffee, thankfully. Hold on. Actually, I'm gonna give you a little update here. I'm not going to move the iPad anymore, so I'm going to come down here. Little update. I've been working on a Starship video, lots of 3D animation and like photorealistic stuff in Unreal Engine 3. It's really cool, and patrons have been seeing that. But I've also just decided to like disappear off the face of the earth for a little while because I needed that personally. More stuff will be coming. I'm back on writing the script now for the video. It's just like it's chill for the time being. Yeah, Patreon, Twitter links all in the description. So yeah, thanks for coming along. Have a good day. Now if I can figure out how to turn this off. I've never streamed with the iPad. There is no button. Oh, there's a little X. Okay, goodbye.